Welcome to my kitchen floor. I'm sitting on the floor. I always sit on the floor. I got fuzz on my shirt. I'm Navajo and I love to sit on the floor, so I always sit on the floor anywhere I go, unless it's a public place. Today, I want to talk about healing chronic anger. I don't know what you want to call it, anger. I struggle with anger sometimes. It has really shown itself being a mother. This is a hard topic because a lot of people don't like talking about things that they struggle with. I have been drinking the heavy metal detox smoothie for, it will be a month, so 4 weeks since I've started the heavy metal detox smoothie. I am doing the heavy metal detox smoothie to try and heal my anger, because I have learned from medical medium that anger is caused heavily by heavy metals in the brain. He talks about it in his books. He has a podcast about anger, and he also has like a blog post on his website about anger and like what causes it. Actually, I'm gonna grab that laptop. I know I can't be the only one, the only mom that struggles with anger. It's so hard, and it's so hard to feel like you are not the worst mother in the whole world dealing with anger. So when I look up the symptom from medical medium, I just Google the symptom or like disease or whatever it is followed by medical medium. So like anger, medical medium. First thing that pops up is chronic anger disorder. If post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, has been ruled out, which to say if it's been determined that trauma from past abuse or suffering is not the cause of someone's chronic anger, and rather it's unexplained, then toxic heavy metals saturating emotional areas of the brain and a stagnant, sluggish liver are the underlying issues. So I drink lemon water every single day to try and help cleanse out my liver. I know that my liver probably still has toxins in it because I do eat some things that I feel like keep me from having a super clean liver, because it's hard to let go of some of the things that I love to eat. You can have a mix of all three: trauma, which I have had as a child, metals, and an overloaded, overworked, stagnant liver. If someone has a sluggish liver and went through mental abuse and toxic heavy metal exposure at roughly the same time, chronic anger will often be expressed more aggressively and more frequently. Mental abuse can be anything that hurt you, made you cry, anything that can be considered mental abuse. When you're a child, you get vaccines, you get exposed to heavy metals from medicine, food. You get exposed to a lot of heavy metals as a child, and so that really affects our emotional brain because you get your vaccines and everything, you're growing, you're learning. It's hard to handle a baby and a toddler, so a lot of this stuff happens when we're at a young age. Chronic anger will often be expressed more aggressively and more frequently. If someone went and got their mercury dental fillings removed, which destabilizes the metal, and also got the worst news that day or week, the emotional impact of the difficult development plus the mercury exposure, mercury is filled in vaccines, can lead to more severe symptoms of frustration and anger if the mercury saturates the brain's emotional centers. Mercury saturating other areas of the brain can lead to other neurological symptoms such as fatigue. Most often, chronic anger stems from toxic heavy metal exposures long ago in childhood. As someone gets older, the metals age and oxidize, causing chronic anger to worsen through later years. When people aren't feeling well physically, it can be angering. If you're chronically sick, plus you're also experiencing any of these factors, trauma, heavy metals, or an overloaded liver, that feeling of chronic unwellness can act as a trigger for these underlying causes of anger. So I have been working on healing and getting heavy metals out of my brain, and I feel like the last few weeks have been extremely hard because when you are cleansing, everyone knows. My baby's awake. When you are healing and detoxing and cleansing your body, any symptom that you're experiencing, could have the potential to get worse because it's being agitated, it's being released into your system and let out. And also there's an emotional release when you're healing from just the years of being agonized by the symptom or whatever you're going through. So healing can trigger a lot, and the last few weeks have been so hard for me, especially being a mother and like trying to not feel overwhelmed and like all of these things. Like I feel like motherhood is already hard as is, but then adding something like this and on top of it, I just feel like I've been losing my mind. I just kind of wanted to make this video to be honest about what I'm going through right now, but also like hopefully I can help someone else feel like they're not alone, because motherhood is really hard, and it's hard when you're dealing with something like this and trying to like not feel like you're crazy. I've been doing the hard work. It's been draining to say the least, and I'm really hoping that it's working and doing something. I found a video where medical medium talks about it's really hard to get old metals out of our body because they've been there so long, and those ones are the most detrimental because, like I stated before, over time metals start to oxidize, and that chemical runoff can get through your body and start causing crazy things to start going on. Okay, that's a little better. I just want to finish up this video because I didn't want to leave it on a loose end, but anger and motherhood and raising babies is so freaking hard. So 4 days from now, I'll be 6 weeks in on my heavy metal detox smoothie. So that makes me really happy. I feel like I've been noticing a huge difference in my mood and just like the way that I'm triggered. I feel like I have that response time where I can either like take a breath and like react, or take a breath and respond and like redirect. So I feel like it's definitely working, which makes me really excited because this has been something that has impacted my whole life. I've always struggled with it. I've struggled with outbursts, and I've had a really hard time emotionally. And so to learn what I've learned about heavy metals and the emotional parts of your brain, and just like it's almost like a big hug of relief, because it can be healed. It's something that I can walk away from, and 3 years down the road, or even a year from now, I can be like, wow, I don't have to deal with that anymore. And it's not just me, right? It's my baby, it's my husband. People that are the closest to you, that have an intimate relationship with you, they are the ones that are gonna see your flaws the most. You're comfortable with them, so they're gonna directly experience it and see it, right? So as a mother and a wife and a daughter and a sibling, it's also my responsibility to do better, and that's where I am taking that and I am redirecting it, I'm healing it, I'm doing the inner work and acknowledging it. And I think that's the biggest piece of it, is acknowledging and telling yourself and realizing, okay, something's got to change. Whether it was our parents or our grandparents or our grandparents' parents, like it all trickles down, it all has an effect. And I could either take this and not do anything about it and then have it, you know, potentially ruin my child's life when they're older, and then it trickles down to their children and their children and their babies, and it just goes down the line. And so we have so many people and women and mothers in our world that think that anger and frustration and triggers or outbursts is just normal and it's part of it, but it shouldn't be. It doesn't have to be, and we don't have to struggle that way. So if you are also struggling with this, I'm just sharing my experience because you don't have to be alone, and you are absolutely not alone, even if you've never talked about it before. And I'm the first person that is talking with you about it, and it speaks true to you. It hits home. Like, it's okay. You are doing the best that you can, and you just need to keep repairing that relationship with yourself and whoever it is that you had an emotional struggle with. Just keep working towards that. But I'm telling you, I feel like this heavy metal detox smoothie really has made a huge difference in my life, and it's like redemptive. what's the word, reassuring learning what I have learned over the last few weeks about heavy metals and chronic anger, or it can be any type of frustration. I used to struggle with anxiety and depression really, really bad, and I know that since I have done celery juice and the heavy metal detox smoothie, even in the past, it helped me immensely. Like, I don't have anxiety and panic attacks the way that I used to 6 years ago. 6 years ago, if I had a panic attack or an anxiety attack, I was done for the day. Like, it was so hard for me. And I literally felt like I was going crazy, and I had doctors blaming hormones and like puberty and growing up and like your seven-year hormonal cycle. Like, so many things were being blamed on it, and it ended up just being heavy metals in my brain. So I hope that this gives you inspiration to look more into that and give you a grasp on the reins that you aren't crazy. And like, motherhood is so freaking hard. Like, no one can prepare you for it. No one tells you about the inner struggles that are gonna come up for you when you are a mother and you have this little human that's just learning the world and trying to express themselves, and you're trying to learn them, they're learning themselves. Like, no one tells you how hard that truly actually is and could be for you. So the fact that you're doing the hard work of realizing it and looking at yourself also from a different perspective, that's so important. I hope that this helps you, and if you have also been going through this, like, just please know you're not alone. And I know I'm not alone, even though I have felt alone before. Just take a deep breath right now and tell yourself that you're an amazing mom and you're an amazing person, and that anger doesn't have control over you. It doesn't define you, because you're an amazing mom and your babies chose you for your highest self. So let's just keep working towards that goal, even if it takes years from now. The fact that we are doing the work is so important. So one more deep breath, because we all need it, right? It's just that reset. And sing. I love to sing when I'm upset, or like if I can feel myself start getting elevated inside, my blood is boiling, like, just start singing to your baby. It changes the whole vibe. It really does. Anyways, that's that. And the heavy metal detox smoothie has really truly been helping me, and I'm so excited to see how much further I can go with this. I'm excited to see if you try it and you try the heavy metal detox smoothie and learn more about anger and stuff like that. So let me know if this resonates with you and how you're feeling. Just know, please, that you are not alone and you are doing an amazing job.